Good morning. This is Darryl Hold, and since I was talking about finance and a banking matter, I thought I would dress like a banker this morning to put myself in the right state of mind to convey this information to you. So what I'm going to talk about is, will your college debt crush your dreams? Let me repeat that. Will your college debt crush your dreams? Now, this is not a topic that's often talked about by people in the academic world. It's just kind of assumed as a given. But here's how serious it is. Currently, the total amount of student debt exceeds credit card debt. That's serious. And what's going to eventually happen to all that? Well, we know from 2008 that it isn't always good. It isn't always pretty the way things turn out. Now, I'm not asking for you to go ahead and make that decision that you know what's going to happen with student debt on hold. But eventually, it has to be paid. So I want to talk with you today about you and your own student debt and how to avoid having it crush your dreams. But I want to consider a few things first. First, all debt is bondage. All, you are beholden to the lender. The debtor is slave to the lender. That's just fact. Now, not a literal slave, of course, but in terms that you have to devote that many hours of your life. Let's call it indentured servitude. Let's use that word. You have to devote that many hours of your life toward paying the debt back. And as a young college student, that's something that pretty much tends to kind of blow past you. Okay, now here's something very significant. Now, even though I'm dressed like a banker, I'm not a banker. And I'm certainly not an attorney, so I'm not giving you legal advice here. However, it's my understanding that student loans cannot be discharged in bankruptcy. That means that if you run into financial difficulty in the future, this is one loan that you own. A loan that you own. And we're not just talking about a year here, 2 years, even 5 years. Realistically, we're talking about 5, 10, maybe even 20 years, depending on the length of the debt. And all the money that you're going to have, this is what economists refer to as crowding out. The money that you're going to have to spend on that debt is going to crowd out what could be used to not only enjoy yourself, but future things that may come up in your life and are likely to. Family, house, even a car. It will always be there. And yet, college loans are pretty much looked at as standard. So I'm kind of approaching this leisurely, and I may do a number of videos to complete my thoughts on this. So I'm going to go over some main points with you, but first I want to share a personal anecdote with you. When I first started college, it was feasible to simply work part-time and go to certainly community college or go to a state college, state university, and have that paid for. So back in the dark ages, when I first started attending college, I think that I paid the remarkable fee to the University of Illinois at Chicago Circle. I think it was all of, for a quarter, a full load, 15 to 17 credit hours. I think it was all of $212. Now that seems like a fantasy, a total joke to those of you watching this video. But my memory's fairly accurate on this. I might not have it down to the dollar, but I was pretty close. And I worked a minimum wage job and was able to pay my college bills out of that. And I don't say this to give myself any accolades or praise. It just simply was what the system was at that time. And the growing student loans have made it possible for college tuitions to greatly outpace even the rate of inflation. So that now you sit here in 2013 and you feel like you're hearing some back in the day story. What does it have to do with you? It has a lot to do with you, because you need to take a completely different approach to financing your college than was possible to of students when I initially started my degree. Okay, so let's since I'm a banker poser here, let's go into a couple of things. There used to be something that was called the Rule of 78. It was outlawed in 2001. I just looked that up on Wikipedia. And what the essence was is, in a 12-month loan, which student loans certainly are, but to give you an example, 12/78 of the loan was due in the first month of the interest that was payable. And by the time you got to the 12th month, only 1/78 of it was interest. Well, Rule of 78 may have been outlawed, but the fact of the matter is that if you got a banker to sit down with you and explain that interest is front-loaded into a loan, whether it's a student loan, a mortgage, car loan, you pay the most interest at the beginning of the loan. So that means you're paying your interest, but you're really not paying off the debt. You're paying off very little of the debt. That's a problem, because what that means is that debt, you're going to live with it a long time. So you really need to take your time and look at that. We're going to stop here at this point, because I don't like to go too long in these videos. My name is Darryl Hold at affordable-tutor.com. You can reach me at tutorpro88@gmail.com. I'll see you on the next video.